Hey everyone, it's Pastor Stephen here from Regeneration Church Monash, and welcome to 3-Minute Discipleship. Today we're going to be talking about Martin Luther and the coronavirus. What can we learn from Luther about discipleship in a coronavirus age? Now, Luther himself faced a plague. It was a different plague. It was the bubonic plague, a much more deadly plague than the coronavirus. And it would take them years to even find out the cause of the bubonic plague. The year was 1527 in Wittenberg, the small German town where Luther famously nailed his 95 Theses to the door of the castle church. I'm going to read us a quote from one of Luther's writings. He writes, "I shall ask God mercifully to protect us. Then I shall fumigate, help purify the air, administer medicine, and take it. I shall avoid places and persons where my presence is not needed in order not to become contaminated, and thus perchance inflict and pollute others, and so cause their death as a result of my negligence. If God should wish to take me, he will surely find me, and I have done what he has expected of me, so I am not responsible for either my own death or the death of others. If my neighbor needs me, however, I shall not avoid place or person, but will go freely, as stated above." So there are three things that we can learn from Luther, from this quote particularly, about living in a coronavirus age. And the first thing we should do as Christians is prayer. Prayer is our first and primary response to this pandemic. And we should pray for protection for ourselves, for our families, for our church family, but also for our governments, for wisdom for our leaders, for medical researchers trying to work on treatments and vaccines, for frontline health professionals who put themselves in harm's way for the well-being of others. The second thing Luther talks about is precautions. Now, notice how even though he's this great servant of God, he doesn't assume that God will somehow miraculously protect him. He doesn't refuse to do the necessary precautions to protect himself and also to protect others around him. The third thing that he says to do is he suggests that he would provide help. He's willing to put himself at risk for the sake of his neighbor who might be in need. So in the same way, Christians, let's do these three things: prayer, precautions, and provide help.